Hi everyone, my name's Andy Robertshaw. Today I'm going to be looking at Daily Killer Sudoku Greater Than Puzzle 31837. That's 31837. Somebody in the group has said they're struggling with this one, so they've asked me to try and do a walkthrough of it. I will hasten to add, this is not the first time I've looked at it myself. I've done it once before and failed quite miserably, but I made some mistakes somewhere, I didn't know where, so I'm starting again now. Anyway, easy stuff first. I've got 3 which is 1 and 2 there. A 5 cage there, 1, 4 or 2, 3. A 7 cage there, 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4. So that's sandwiched between 5 and 7. Must be 6, 1, 5 or 2, 4. A 16 cage there is 7 and 9. I've got all but one of those. That's 37, so that needs to be 8 to make it up to 45. A 10 cage here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do the rest of this row. 5, 6, 7, 9. Can't have a 5 in the 10 cage. Can only have 5 or 6 in the 7 cage. So 5, 6 with 1, 2. 6, 7, 9 with 1, 3, 4. Right, now there are 2 very interesting cages in this one. I've got a 29 cage there of size 7 and a 41 cage there of size 7. The 29 cage there must have everything apart from 7 and 9 in it. 2 numbers that add up to 16, 7 and 9. So I now know on this top row, my 7 and 9 must be amongst those. My third number in that section is whatever one is there, which can't occupy any of these 6 cells. And let's do the same in the 41. I'm missing numbers 1 and 3, but I got all the rest. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm missing 2 numbers that add up to 4. They must be 1 and 3. So that's that. Right, I'll come back to this 21 cage now. My 7 and 9 are both on the top row, so I can't have both the 7 and 9 in the 21 cage, but I could have... I must have at least one of them. 5, 6, 8 is the biggest thing, which is only 19 without 7 or 9. So in fact, that one must be 7 or 9. What does it go with? So 7 will have to go with 6 and 8, or 9 will have to go with 4 and 8. So I do need an 8 there, whatever happens. So not an 8 there. Right. I must have 1 and 3 on the bottom row of this one. That means this can't be a 1, so that's 2, 5, that's 7 cage. So that's not a 5. That's not a 5. So not a 2 there, because I've got the 2 there. So what's also interesting, I've got a 2 and a 4 in both the 10 cage and the 41 cage. So this box and this box, between them must have the 2 in the 10 cage and the 41 cage. So that one's not a 4. That's not the 6 that would have gone with it. Right. So I've got 7 and 9 in this column, so let's remove that from there. I've got a 13 cage, which could be... I can't have a 4, because I've got 4 in the 41 and in the 10 cage. So I can't have a 4 in the 13 cage, so it's 5, 8 or 6, 7. Right, okay, that's 2 options. 15 cage there, 6, 9 or 7, 8. But I've got an 8 there in the 21 cage, so that's not an 8. That's not the 7 that would have gone with it. Also, that's not an 8. That's not the 5 that would have gone with it. Right. So what else? 21 cage here without using a 5. So it could be 4, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 8. So same options I've got for this one. I must have an 8 in there. I don't have an 8 there then, because my 8 in that column is that one. Also 2 and 5 I got there, so no 2 and 5 there. So what I said earlier, the 3 numbers here are 7, 9 and whatever is in that cell. So 7 or 9 must go there, but 1, 3, 4 or 6 to go there. So I can de-underline that now. I've got all the candidates that could be in there. Right. So I can't have both the 1 and the 3 in the 16 cage. I need 12 more to go with it. So I must have 1 or 3 there in that 14 cage. Let's play around with a few options for what I could have here. 9, I need a total of 5, but can't have 2, 3. So 9, 4, 1. 7, I need 7 more. Can have 3, 4, or 1, 6. Or 6, I want 7 more. So can't have 2, 5, can't have 1, 6. So 6 I have to go with 3 and 4. So I've only got 4 and 6 as a candidate for that one. So I can't have both the 7 and 9 in the 16 cage. So I can't have... In fact, sorry, 6. What could I have with 6? I've got to have a total of 8, haven't I, with 6? I could have 6, 1, 7, I beg your pardon. So that's a possibility, 6, 1, 7. But I must have a 7 or 9 also inside this 16 cage. But not both 7, because 7 plus 9 is already 16. So let's hold on to that thought. Right. What else have I got? I've got 16 cage there. I've not looked at that yet. 7 and 9. So I've got 7, 9 pair there. I've got 7 or 9 there. 7 or 9 in that 14 cage and 7 or 9 there. Right. So let's fill in the rest of this box. Must have 8 there and 7 or 9. So 7, 8, 9 spoken for. 1, 2 spoken for. I'm only left with 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So what else? Anything else jumping out? So I've got a 15 cage here, but I've got 2 16 cages with 7 and 9 in them. So that 15 cage cannot contain 7 or 9. So it must contain 6 or 8. So 2, 3, 4, 5 is only 14. So I could have 8, 1, 2, 4, or 6 and a total of 9. Again, we'll hold on to that thought. Right. So here I must have 1, 3 and whatever number is there. But I don't have 2, 5 or 8 there. In fact, I don't have 5 or 8 there. So I couldn't have 5 or 8 in that one. If this 13 cage is 6 and 7, then that's a 4, that's a 9. My 5 and 8 would have to occupy those two. And I've got 1 and 3 left between those two, so I'd have to have 1 and 3 there. So once again, 6, 7, 4, 9, 5, 8, 1 and 3 there. But my 1 and 3 must go on the bottom row of that. So that's a contradiction. My 13 cage there is 5 and 8. So I can take the 8 out of that one and the 7 out of that one. So that 15 cage is 6 and 9. I can take those out. I can take the 8 out of this box and the 5 as well. So I must have a 5 and 8 on the bottom row of that one. Right. So 4, 6, 7 or 9, whichever one is there has to go on the bottom row of this, but not there. It has to be one of these. 4, 6, 7, 9. And also that's no 1s or 3s there. That also has to be 4, 6, 7 or 9 without the chance of 1 or 3. Okay, so let's de-underline that one. I've got 4, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 8 there, and I've got 6 or 9 there. So hidden 6, 9 pair, that one isn't 6 or 9. Let's do the rest of this middle row. I've got 1, 2, 6, 9, so 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 to fill that middle row. But not 7 there. I've got 7 and 9 there. Right, I've got an 8 in that column, so that one's not an 8. I've got a 7-9 pair there, so that one's not 7 or 9. I must have 1 or 3 there. So on this row, my 1 and 3 must be in the middle two of that. So I must have 1 or 3 there. I don't have 1 or 3 there. That one is 2 or 4. So my 1, 3 on that, yeah, 1, 3 was on the top row of that. So 1 of 2 and 4 on there. So in fact, between them, I must have my other one of 2 and 4. Yeah, because 2 and 4, both of those cages contain a 2 and a 4. So 2 or 4 in the 10 cage there. The other one of 2 and 4 must be there. And my 2 and 4 on this row must both be in that one. So in fact, no 4 on the bottom row, no 4 there. Right. In fact, must that be the case? I'm not sure what I've just said is right. I do know 2 and 4 must be in those 2 cages. Whether this bit's right or not, I don't know. So I'm going to park that for now. But 2, 4, 5, 8 are going to be these 4 between them. Because each of the 41 and the 10 cage must have a 2 and a 4. So that's 1 in each top and non-top there, top and bottom there. So 2, 4, 5, 8. So no 6, no 7, no 9. 2, 4, 5, 8 quad. And I'm left with 1, 3, 6, 7, 9 to go there. Yes, I suppose I could have a 4 there and a 4 there. I can't rule that out yet. Right, so 5 and 8. Yeah, I know I've got them there. I've got 7, 9 there. That's not a 7. This is more than 21. It's at least 22. 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 18. And I can't have a 7 or a 9 anywhere in that. So I must have an 8. Having a maximum of 6 isn't enough, so one of those two must be an 8. So I don't have an 8 in either of those. I don't have an 8 elsewhere in the column either. So one of those two is an 8. I'll put an 8 underlined there just to remind me of that. Can I get away without a 6 in this box? Well, 3, 4, 5, 8 is only 20. That's not enough. I need a 6 in that cage, sorry. Need a 6 there. So not a 6 there. Not a 6 in the 21 cage. So that's going to be 4, 8 and 9. So 4 and 9 can go from that one. The 4 can go from that. Remembering that this one joins 7 and 9 on those top 3. I've got to have 1, 3, 6, 7, 9. The 4 can go from the top row of that. Need a 4 in one of those. So in fact, those 4 are 1, 3, 6, 7 between them. Right. So I now know that one of these two must be a 6. I've got a 6 there, a 6 there. So my 6 in that box must be there. I've got a 9 there, in fact, so that's not a 9. My 9 in the 21 cage has to be that top one. So that's that one. So not a 9 there, that's a 7. And that's a 9 there. And the 10 there is 7 and 3. So let's get rid of those. And the 7s can go as well. And not a 3 there. Not a 3 there. Not a 7 there. So I've got a 3, 4, 5, 8 quad there. So in fact my 7 in this... My 7 in this row must be that one. I'm trying to remember how I eliminated 7 as an option from that. Right. I don't recall having eliminated it, so I'm going to put it back in. Okay, I might have done something daft there, but anyway, let's see. What could I have here? 8 is obviously one possibility. In fact, I could have had the 6 there, couldn't I? I was a bit hasty to rule something out there. So let's go. I'm going to go back to the point I did that. So apologies for this. But I want to put back in the place I had the 6 in the 21 cage. Yeah, so it could go top up. I might just have a 6 there instead. Though I don't have a 6 on the top row of it, because one of those 3 has to be a 6. But how did I get rid of the 6 there? I don't know. And I've got my 7 there. Right. Okay, let's do something else. Let's find something else. So what could this one be? Not 6 or 9, not 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Not 8, because I've got to have an 8 there in the 21 cage. Right. If I do have an 8 in this 15 cage, it's there. I don't have an 8 in the 15 cage, in fact, because I've got to have an 8 as one of those two. That is a fact. I made a mistake, but that's certainly right. I don't have a 7 there either, because I've got 7, 9 there. So 6 must be my biggest number in this 15 cage. That one's a 6. That's not a 6. That's not a 6. Right. And so those 3 add up to 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing more than 5 to go there. So my 9 could be 2, 3, 4 or 1, 3, 5. But not 1, 2, 6 because I've got 6 there. I've got 7 and 9 there. So that's 7 and 9 in the row there. And I've got 6 now as well. So that's 4 or 8. In fact, I can now see I don't have a 6 in the 21 cage anyway. So what I did before might have been right, but more by chance. So that's 4, 8, 9, and the 9's got to be at the top. And the 6 is now definitely one of those. Okay. So 4 and 8 there. So what could I have here with the 8? I can't have 7. I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't see a way to rule out any of those straight away. I've established I need a 6 as one of those. So 8 plus 6 is 14. I need at least 8 to go with it. from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, I can't have 1 or 2 there. If I've got 1 or 2 there, I've got maximum 5, 6, 8, which is 19. So not 1 or 2 there. So 3, 4, 5, 8 are my candidates for these. I must have 5, 6, and 8, along with 3 or 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 3 or 4 there. I need a 7 in this row. Okay, so let's look for something else. Is anything else available now? Got to have an 8 as one of those. Can't have an 8 there, so my 8 in that row is one of those two. My 8 in this row could be that one as well. In fact, I've got a 4 there. I can't have 4s in any of those. So if I do have a 4 in this cage, it's there. So how do these interact with this 15 cage? Because I've got similar set of numbers. So remember that the 9 I've got there is either 135 or 234. So the 15 cage contains a 3. If I've got a 3 there, I don't have a 3 in those, must have a 3 there, and 5 and 6 there, and 4 and 8 there. If I've got 5 there, I've got 3, 6 there, and 5, 8. So I've either got 4, 8 or 5, 8 between those two. I couldn't have a 3 there. 5 would give me 3, 6 there. 3 would give me 5, 6. But I need a 3 in the 15 cage with that. My 3 in the 15 cage would have to be there. I also know that that can't be a 3. Whether I've got a 3 here and need a 3 there, or whether I've got 3s here, both touch that one. So that's not a 3. That's not a 2. So 3 there for 3 there, and either 2, 5 or 1, 4. Sorry, either 1, 5 or 2, 4. 5 there, 3, 6, 1, 4. Right, again, lots of options. Well, more options than I can see my way through anyway. But I've got 7, 8, 9 in that column now, so these are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 of those to go there. So I've got a 4 as one of those, not a 4 there, not a 4 there. So I've done this once before by mistake, but 1, 3, 6 there. These 3 are 7, 9, along with whatever goes there, 1, 3, 6. So I don't want a 4 on the top row of that. So I'm going to try some options for this 7 cage. If I've got 1, 6 there, I've got 4, 8, 9 there. I've got 3, 7. I've got 2 and 5 left for this one. Um, 3, 4, 6, 8, 7. 1925 again for that one. So either this one or this one is a 2-5 pair. If I've got 2-5 there, I've got 1 or 4 there, and 2 or 5 there because those two add up to 6. Right, so 2. Okay. I know the 7 in this one. I've got 7s there. The only place I could have a 7 in this box is one of those. So not a 7 there, not a 7 there. So the 7 needs to go on the bottom row of this 41 cage. In fact, it's one of those two. But I can't have a 7 on the bottom row of the 16 cage. Right. So of these two, in fact, I know I've got 7 and 8 there. Well, the 7 can't be on the bottom because of that. The 7's got to be one of those two. So I've got a 9 there. In fact, I've got a 136 triple there. So what does that leave me? That leaves me with a 7 for this one. So that's not a 7. That's a 9. That's a 7. So one of these two has to be a 9. Because I've got a 9 on the top row there, 9 there. That's not a 9. So one of those two is a 9. Right. Looking to see what else jumping out at me. So I've got 6 or 9 there. 6 or 9. So of 6, 7, 9, could I have 2 of 6, 7, 9 there? If I got 6, 7, 8, then I can't. I can only have the 9 there. If I got 4, 8, 9, so 4, 8, 9 there. So that rules out 4, 3 there. Could I have 6? Could I have 2 of 6 and 7? 4, 8, 9. Could I have both of 6 and 7 there? Is that possible? I'd have to have 7 there, 6 there. But that's the only way that one could be 2 or 4. In fact, let's look at this another way. I've got 6, 7, 9. I must have one of them as those two. The only way to have both of them in those two is not to have one there. So I have to have 2 or 4 there, and 1, 5 there. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 amongst those. And a 7 there, and 4, 8, 9 there, 6, 9 there. So 7, 6, 6, 7, like that. Right, I can't rule it out. Is there anything I can do on this row? I've got two options for the 5, obviously. 2, 3 or 1, 4. If I got 3, 2, I want 5, 6. And 4 or 8 there. 1 or 4 there. But I need the 3 there. And I need a total of 6 there. Can't rule that out. So 1, 4 will give me 2 or 5 there. Right. In fact, something else. I can't have a 3 there. It touches all 3 of the cells inside the 15 cage. I know one of those must be a 3. So my 3 in this box must be in the middle. Right. So, if that's 4, that's 5, 8, 3, 6. That's 1, 4. So I've got 4, 5, 8, 3, 6, 1, 4. That could be either of 2 or 5. But I need 2, 3 there. That'd be 5 then. So my 5 would have to be that one. Yeah, I've got an 8 there anyway. So 4, 5, 8, 7, 3. If that's 3, I've got a total of 6 there. If that's 5, I've got 1 and 3 there, and 4 there, and 1 there, and 5 there. In fact, that's 5, 1, 3, 4, 1. I've got to have 2 and 5, 2 or 5 there, but I need a 5 inside this cage, so I can't have 5 there. With 5 there, I can't have 5 there. So 5, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5 there for 2 there, 4 there for a total of 5, for 2, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, but it's actually 1 and 4 that way round. Sorry, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1 that way round. I beg your pardon. So that has to be a 5. So if I've got 3 there, I've got 5 there. 3. Sorry, 5, 4 there, I've got a 5 there. 5 there, 1, 3. 5, 1, 3, 4, 1. 2 there. And 3 there. Total of 6 could be 1, 5 or 2, 4. Okay, too many options. What could this one be? Touching all of those, so it can't be a 3, can't be 6, 7, 9. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8. In fact, in this box, that's the only place I could have a 9, isn't it? So that one's a 9. Yes, I should have seen. I saw that earlier. Right. Okay. Let's get back to this then. So the 7 goes there. So the 9 must be in the 14 cage. I can't have both the 7 and the 9 in the 16 cage because 7 plus 9 is 16. So that is 9 and a total of 5. So 4, 1. So 4s and 1s can go from that. I've got 3, 6, 7 in the 16 cage with the 7 on the top. So 7 there. I've got 4 there as well. So 1, 3, 6, 9 between those. But what's here must go here. So that's going to be a 6 now then. So 1, 3 and 6 is my other one. 6 goes there. So no 6 there. 1, 3, 9. So that's 7 there and 3 there. I'm sure I've had that in before. So 7, 3, 1, 9. That's not a 9 or a 7. That's a 6. Right. So 3s can go from those. If you can hear my phone pinging, please excuse me. Somebody's sending me lots of messages. Right. 1, 4, 5. Okay, anything else going to jump out? 1, 2 there. So 2 there, 1 there. So not 1 or 2 there. Oops, what have I just taken out of that? 1, 2. Not 4 there. 3, 5, 6, 8. In fact, that's not a 9. So that one must be the 9. 3, 5, 6, 8. They're between 3, 5, 6, 8. In fact, I've got a quintuple there. 1, 3, 5, 6, 8. So that leaves me with a hidden 2, 4 pair at the top and bottom of that one. The 5 must now be one of those two, so that one isn't a 5. Alright. So no 6 there. Right, 1. My 1 must be one of those two, so not on the top row of that box. Okay. So what can I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. I'll put them all in. I've got a 6 in this box now, so no 6s there. Right. I've got an 8, one of those two, so that one's not an 8. So what can I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, not 8. Let's see if I can eliminate anything from that. So 2, 3 there. I've got 6, 5. And 4 or 8 there. So with 2 and 3 there, I've got to have 1 or 7 there. With 1, 4 there, well, the 4 goes straight away. So the 4's got to either be in the 5 cage or be one of those. So that's the 4's not that one. So 1 4. Well, I've got other options. Okay, well, I've knocked one out anyway. Yeah, so 6 must be one of those in that box. Let's look at this 20 cage. I could have one 8 4 7. 2. I don't have a total of 11 there between those two, so I can't have a 2 there. 4 2. So 4 plus 2 plus 7 is 13. Need another 7. Can't have that. 5. I've got 12 there, so 6 2. Or 6, I could have 3 4 or 5 2. Yeah. Okay, well that's... I'm reducing options. Right. So 3 6 3. So if I add these together, 20, 29 and 16, that should be 65 and another 4, 74. So I've got 16 between the 4 of those. Again, I don't know how useful that's going to be. I may come back to that. Right. So 1 2 3 4 5. I've got 4 of 1 2 3 4 5 there, and the other one there along with the 7 or 8. What happens if I put 1 and 6? I'm going to try... I think I might have been here before. Let's try 1 and... I can't have 1 and 6 in the 7 cage. We've got a 6 there. So 2, 3, 4 or 5. So that's probably quite a big help, isn't it? So 3 4 6 7 8. 1 9 2 5 or 2 5 1 or 4 there. Right, 2 5 1 or 4 there. Okay. At least I know I've got 2 5 there or 2 5 there. Only 2 places for a 7 in that column. So if I've got 6 7 and 6 7 8 there, what could that one be? 6 7 8 9 6. So could I have 2 or 4 there. 6 7 8 9 with 1 or 3 there. Right. In fact, I've got 9 there, so I've got 1 and 9 that way round. That's not a 1. That's not a 3. Right. Does that make it any more interesting, knowing I've got 2 or 4 there? So 3 2 5 6 4 8. So I've either got 4 there or 4 there. So I can't have 4 anywhere else in this box. Right. So 1 4 5 8 3 or 3 2 6 5 4 8. but not 5 there. If I got 5 there, I need 1 and 3 there. So 3, 2 will give me 3 there, or 1, 4 will give me 5, 8 and 3 there. That is a 3. Right, so total of 6 there, 2, 4 either way, or 5 in that one, 1 in that one. Right, so that's my 3 gone there. So 3 gone from that one as well. 2, 4 pair there, so not 2, 4 there, not 2, 4 there. 5, 8 pair there. So total of 6 there, total of 6 there, and their opposites. Oh. Right, 3, 2, 4, 2. Okay. 4, 5, 7, 8 quads. Still lots of options. So 6 must be one of those in that box. 2, 4. Three, 2, 5, 8. Sorry, 3, 2, 6, 5, 4, 8. 1, 5, 7. 1, 4, 5, 8. 1, 2, 7. So the 1 and the 7 must be among those. Yes, we do know that. The 1 must be one of those two in this box. Right. Let's try something. 1, 5 gives me 2 there. 1, 5 gives me 2 there, 4 there, 1 there. So I can't have 1, 5 there. I must have 2 and 4 there. So not 2 there, not 4 there. That's 8 and 4. So not 2, 4, 8. I'm left with the choice of 1, 3 and 5 there. So this pair are 1 and 5. So not 1 there. I've got a 1, 3, 5 triple there. So I must have a 7, 8 pair left between these two. Right. Are we getting anywhere now? I've got a 4 in that row, so that's 5 or 8. 5, 7, 8 I've got left to go in that row. 1, 5 pair there, so that's not a 1 in that one on the top row. Right, so what's next? So 5, 8. 2, 4. Do I know that one? I'm not sure about that one. Okay. So there must be something. I must have done the bulk of this now. I must be getting close. So 1, 3, 6. So that one along with 7 or 9 and the top row of that. So 1 there will mean a 5 there because a 1 will be needed in the top row. A 3 there will be 3 there, 2, 5, 1 there. And a 6 will be 6 there, 4, 8, 9, 2, 5, 1 there. Okay. So 1, 2, 5, 7. I've got 1 and 3 amongst those. In fact, have I got a 1, 2? No, I've not got 1, 2, 3, 4 quad. I thought I might have. So 4, 8, 9, 2, 7, 6, 7, 8. Will give me 2 or 4 there. So 2, 4 pair. Right. Okay. So 1 4 means I've got to have a 2 there. 3 2 5 6. Yeah, with 1 4 that's the only place for a 2. With 3 2 5 6, so that one isn't a 5. 3 2 5 6. 1 3 2 will give me 7 there. 1 4 will give me 2 there. It's not a 1 either. That's 2 or 7. So my 1 must be on the top row of this box. That's not a 1. I've got a 3 5 pair, so that must be a 1. Right. Right. Something's got to go. Something's got to give on this. 3 6 2. So 3 5, 3 or 5 there, 3 or 5 there, not 3 or 5 there, not 3 or 5 there. So rule them out slowly but surely. I've got a 6 in that shouldn't have a 6 there as a candidate. So that's 1 or 9. 2 5 3 1 4 5 8 2 there. So 2 on the bottom row of that. 3 4 5 1 5 2 would have to be in that one. Right, 3. Okay. It just feels like something really has to give now. 1 2 3 4, so that's 20. 1. So 1 and 5 there. Let's fill the candidates for those two in. So not 1 6 7 or 9. So 2 3 4 5 8. Right, 3 5 6 2 4 2 4 pair there. So whichever one is there has to be one of those two. I keep saying that. I've got 29 there, so I must have a total of 16 between the 4 of those. So 2 3 4 5 is only 4. 3 4 5 6 is 18. So it can be done without the 8. Right. 3 4 6 7 8 1 9 5 2 2 5 3 1 5 1 9. Two 5 1 9 or 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Whether I've got a 2 or 5 there, or a 3 and 4, I must have 6, 7, 8 there. So 3, 4 gives me 6, 8 to go with 7. 2, 5 gives me 1 there and 9 there. So no 9 there. So that is going to be 7 with 6 and 8 there. So 9 there, 6 there. Not a 7 there. 2, 4 pair there. So not 2 or 4 there. Not a 7 there. Not a 6 there because I've got the 6, 8 pair there. So this one isn't a 6 because it's got to be 1 or 3 that joins 9 there. So that's 1 or 3. Right, so 2 or 4 there. I've got one of 2 and 4 there, the other one here. I've got a 2, 4 pair there. So that's not 2, 4. That's 3, that's 1. So that's 2 or 4. So 2 or 4 there, 2 or 4 there, 2 or 4 there. That's not 2 or 4, that's 9. That's 1, 5, 1. 3, 4 there. So that is the 2. I've got a 3 now, that's 9. So 1's not there. The 1 must be in this one then. Right, so 3, 4 there. That one's 5. I've got 1 there, so that's 3, 2, 7, 5, 8. I've got 5 and 8, that's 4. I've got a 3 in that row, so 6 and 5. I've got 7 there, so that's 8 and 7. I've got 5 in the box, that's 3. I've got 2 in that column, so 4, 2 there. That one's there for a 4. So that's 2, 4. Let's do away with 4s there. 2, 5, 8 there. So not 2, not 4. I've got 9. That's a 7 there. Got 3 there, so 6 and 3. And I've got 3 at the bottom, so that's a 6. So 6s can go from that one and from those 2. So 3, 5, 8 triple there is what I've got, but not 5 there because of that one. Right. That's progress at least. So I've got 5 in that column. I've got a 4 in this column, so no 4s there. 1, 2, 5, 6 left. Right. Okay. I think we're nearly done. We're getting very close. So I've got a 5 in that row, so not a 5 there. What can I have in this 20 cage? So 1 with 8 and 4, or 6, I need a total of 7, so it'd be 3 and 4. I need a 4 there, whatever happens. So 4 and 2, so out with those. That's a 5 and an 8, and a 3. So not 3, 8, that's a 4. Not 8, 8, that's 2, 3 paired there. Not 2, not 5, they're 1 and 6. No 3s there, so that's 8, 5. 8, 4, 7 is 19, and 1 makes it 20. So 6 in that row, 8 and 6. 4 there, that's 3, 4, 2, 3. So just this bottom bit still to do. 2 there, 8 there, and 5 there, and we did it. Right, that wasn't my first attempt, as I said earlier. I even made a mistake or two on the way with this one, but we got there. So thank you for watching. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.